guys, it is Carl Brown for GuitarLessons365.com. Have got a great one today. We're learn to do. We're going to learn to do I Want to Know What Love Is by Foreigner. So, first Foreigner track I've done. This was brought to my attention on Instagram yesterday after I made this post. By the way, if you don't follow me on Instagram, I'm a far more interesting version of myself there. So you'll see a link to the Instagram below. So please follow me there. It's a fun place. I'm going to start adding more stuff there. I promise. Now, before we get into this, though, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell, of course, so you know when I release a new video. And if you like what I do here on YouTube, the best way to support what I do is by joining my Guitar Academy. You'll see a link to my Academy in the description below. That link will give you a free 7-day trial too. And my Guitar Academy contains all of my guitar courses, covering everything from complete beginner courses to more advanced courses on technique, improvisation, ear training, theory, guitar tone. You get personalized support from me as well. So please click the link and go check it out. I'd love to see you there. All right, let's jump into the track. So I am tuned down a half step. So I originally transcribed this thing. This thing doesn't have guitar, obviously. We're focused more on like more of a synth track, right? But I've transcribed this guitar. I originally did it without, retuning it. But it's just so much easier if you take your guitar down a half step. So that's how we're going to do it in this video. So it really makes the song light years easier to play. So I'm tuned. Every string is tuned down a half step. So E flat down. So E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B flat, and E flat. All right, so let's start here. So like I said, this is an arrangement really of the chords that are going on the keyboards, but we can get pretty close to it, and I'm even throwing in some of those little melodic lines that you hear throughout as well. And some cool, interesting progressions. There's a little bit of modal progressions going on in this song and stuff too. So some cool stuff. So let's jump into it. So this intro is a little bit different. It's kind of like the verse, but they play it slightly differently. And then when we get to like the second time singing through the verse, that'll be the way we'll play the verse from then on. And then when we get to the pre-chorus and chorus, those are the same each time too. So it's not like we have all these multiple versions to learn. So it shouldn't take that long. All right, so this intro there kind of starts with just this E minor chord. I know it's an E flat minor chord now because of this tuning we're in, but we're going to call it E minor just so we don't confuse people. It's easier to look at. It looks like I'm playing E minor, so I'm going to call it E minor, even though we know the whole thing is down a half step. So to match the recording. So we have E minor there to a D major chord, and then to a G major chord. Now the voicing of the G major, there's two main voicings that we play like an open G. One is like this, where we have that third fret there on the B string. And then the other one uses an open B string. So how I like playing it in this song seems to match the voicings of the synth track better. Open B version of the G during the verses. And then in the chorus, we'll play that 4-finger G with that third fret there on the B string. So anyway, so we basically have this E minor to a D major, and then that's going to go down to a G major chord with the open B string. Now from there, we're going to go, hopefully you know your basic open position chords. If it's not a basic open position chord, I'll usually kind of work out what's going on there. But if you don't know that, you can find that out at GuitarLessons365.com for free. Just go to the site, GuitarLessons365.com, click on free lessons, click on beginner, and you'll see all these chord forms there kind of taught painfully slow. So we have E minor to D to G. Then we go to a C major chord, and then back to that E minor. So that's pretty much the intro. So we have this. So we basically strum that last E minor chord there. We're strumming it through 2 full measures. And what I want you to do, and there's a little kind of lick they play on the keys, like this. So to try to emulate that, all I'm doing here is I'm strumming just a normal E minor. And in the second measure, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the 2nd fret there on the G. And I'm really just hitting these 2 middle strings here at this part. So I'm hitting the 2nd fret on the D and the G. And then lift them both up to the open strings. And then back down to the E minor. So that just that last E minor leading up to the vocals like this. And then we get to the actual verse. So let me play that whole intro for you again. So that's what I mean, like this very beginning here is just that little lick in there is really happening just through like the first time through the verse and then that intro. And then we're going to change it up a little moving bass line. So we have this so far. And now we get to when the vocals come in. Gotta take a little time. So it goes through the same chords again. So that D to G, a little C to think things, E minor. That same little lick. And we'll read between the D, D to G. In case we see to the E minor. Alright, it's always fun to try to do that. Alright, so let me take that. So you can see that it's just those intro chords again, just kind of taking through with that little lick at the end. Okay, so let me do it one more time with the intro into the first verse so you can kind of see how that stuff keeps kind of just repeating. So with this. 2 measures of this. I did a little lick. Now the vocals. Gather ring, a little time to think it's over. Now the same thing, 2 measures. Little lick. Let it read between the lines. Same chords. Because I need it when I here just kind of strum this for 2 full measures without the little lick. And we're going to end this section when he goes. So that little right there is a D6 chord. He's really kind of, you really can play it as just a D chord and he's singing the 6th. So he's singing that B over it. But it sounds cool to kind of do the harmony with that. And it's arrangement, we can do whatever we want. So it's open D, right? 2nd fret on the G, open B string, that's the 6th. And then the 2nd fret on the high E. So we'd strum that, but going into that, we strum the, there's just kind of 2 measures of E minor and 1 measure of that D6. And now we get to the verse progression again, but this one, it's a little bit different, but then it's now going to be the same way each time. So it looks like this. This mountain I must climb is like a world upon my shoulders. In the clouds as they shine, keep me warm as night grows colder. All right, so this, so it's basically. After that, what we did, went back to the E minor to kind of start the verse section over, but instead of just strumming and do that little fill, we have this. So I'm basically just playing the E minor, and then we're going to play this, the A string by itself. So that note that we're already playing, the second fret on the A, then the open D string, second fret on the D, so with, and then the open G string, and then the root note, it does go back to that note. So like that little bass line that happens. But when this second E, I just like hitting the chord again, because that note's in there and just kind of hit it bigger, like. So we're just coming out of that. Bass line again. Then the same. This mountain I must climb. Same chords as the first verse now. See. And when you get the E minor, that bass line again. Just one time. And then back to the chords. Now here we're not going to do anything because we're just going to do kind of two measures of just E minor because we're setting up for the pre-chorus. All right. Then we have this. In my life, there's been heartache and pain. I don't know if I can face it. Can't stop now. I've traveled so far. Change this lonely life. All right, so the beginning of this riff is modal. So it's based off, it's like an A Dorian progression. It's really kind of a static A Dorian thing. So we have this. So we're keeping the A ringing in the bass at all times, right? And we're basically playing triads that would, you know, work for the A Dorian mode over it. So that will be C major triad here. So we have 10 on the D, 9 on the G, and 8 on the B. Remember, open A string under it. So that just makes it an A minor 7 chord, but it's kind of sometimes easier just kind of see it, as just those triad shapes over it, because we're gonna have the A underneath all these chords. So then we're gonna go to the 7th fret there on the D, just a straight A minor here. Then a 5th fret on the G and the B. And then what we're going to do is we're going to play a D major there. Kind of just a second version D. And then back to the A minor there that we just played. Just with this. That kind of A modal thing 3 times. So that's with a in my life there's been heartache and pain. I don't know if I can face it really. Can't stop now. I've traveled so far. And then we're gonna bring it back to a kind of a tonal thing. Setting up, going back to G. So that is just a C major chord, and then a G would be in the bass. So that's just like that 4-finger G, but what you just want to basically don't play the low G string in the bass. We'll just play it. So the 5th string is in the bass, that B. But you really just need the 4 middle strings. You really get the high E string going, it's not that great in there. So it's really the 4 middle strings I'm hitting here. And then it goes to A minor 7. You can start it as an A minor 7, or just grab an A minor chord and then add the minor 7th there on top, that G. Or you can start it as an A minor 7 with the open G as well, and then grab that high E. You hear that G come in at the end, that minor 7, and then we have this. All right, so what we're gonna do here, so we have this open D string, and we have the C major triad over this D. So we have this the 5th fret there on the G, 5th fret on the B, and then the 3rd fret there on the high E. So what that makes is a D11. This is a D dominant 11. All right, so sets up big time to the chorus. All right, so now that from now on the verse and the pre-chorus are going to be the same as that, and then we get to the chorus, which looks like this. Probably the easiest part of the song. So that's just the full G now with the 4-finger G there with that 3rd fret on the B. So we have that G. And then this quick little E minor chord is really used as like a quick passing chord. E minor to the D. So we have this. Then we go to an A minor chord. Same ending, quick little E minor to the D. So we have this. So it's just a G major, then that E D, the E minor D thing, and then the A minor followed by the E minor D again. So it's just as a G, and the only difference is that the G is the first chord, the first time through, and then the second time through the A minor. So this. Repeat. All right, now there's a little tail upon it. So what they do there is we have that D chord in the chorus, and then he changes this to a D. Really, this is a dominant chord now. So we have, and he's got this little line that goes on top of. Really nice. So open D string, 2nd fret there on the G, 1st fret. So we got that flat 7 there. It makes it dominant. And then we have the top note is that little melody line. So we start on the G. Really, it's like a D7 sus thing, and then we resolve that down to the 2nd fret there for the melody note on top on the high E string, then the open high E, and then over to the 4th fret there on the B. So like this, or you can just strum it the whole time, and then E minor chord. So when you get to that E minor, it resolves back to the verse again, and like I said, now the second time through the verse, the same thing that we did before, that little bass line. So nothing new in there, same thing. same thing, and then the same little modal thing. And then the same chorus. Now, when we get to the chorus at the end, it's kind of an extended chorus. So at the very end of the song, you'll do like, which really, you hear the progression. And then you'll, as they just repeat it, so they'll just keep going without that little tail the first time. Just kind of just the chorus again. So then they do the tail, and they kind of build up, so repeat the chorus again. And then I had that, I got a Tina Turner sounding version comes in there. I don't actually know if it's Tina Turner or not. If it's not Tina Turner, they definitely want to be Tina Turner. Anyway, so. Big finish. And just go and go and go and repeat it till just whoever's living with you in your house just comes in and just breaks the guitar over your head. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. It is a fantastic song, massive hit, and my first Foreigner track. So I guess I'm going to start cranking out some Foreigner if you guys like this one at least. All right, so I'll see you again then. All right, bye-bye.